Hello, bold vocalists. It's Carissa here, and we are on day something or other. 11? Yes, 11. It's the 11th day of our challenge. Are you swimming in too much information right now? I'm feeling that from you guys, and that's okay. So stick around at the end of this video if you want to hear why I gave you so much to work on here. I wanted to give a ton of value and let people kind of pick and choose what they wanted to work on. But there's a reason I kind of packed this thing super duper full, and that is because I wanted to give you guys a little taste of what it would be like to work with me in an online group program setting. And instead of doing one video and all of that work per day, it would be one per month, and then we would have a week to implement and then a week of coaching in a group format. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that at the end of the video, so stick around if it sounds like something you're interested in, and if it's not, then this stuff is up until Saturday, and I hope you get the very most out of it that you can and that you've enjoyed it. You know, I really wanted to build the community, and I want to say thank you very much for showing up, for opting into the email list, for giving me your time. It means the world to me. So if you want to work a little bit more in depth, I also do one-on-one coaching, of course, but this is a quite different price point from that. So this is an option to work with me in a group setting, and it's much more affordable and just so much value still. So I will tell you a bit more at the end if you want to hear it. Did you guys do 25 songs in 10 minutes? I'll tell you what, I did mine, and I finished the last scribble on the page right as my 10-minute timer went off. My dogs are probably going to bark, so heads up. I can see them stalking the door. Shh, Pepper. Pepper's such a barker. All right, anyway. So I'm going to share mine with you, and I'm not going to tell you what all of it means because some of it is pretty, we talked about the throat chakra yesterday and all those ways that the human spirit gets kind of woven into our choices, our willpower, and that's the throat chakra, kind of controlling that center. So some of this stuff is probably pretty sensitive for you, and I hope you were able to do this with some peace in your heart and it wasn't too disruptive in your life. If it was, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to kind of walk you through some of this stuff. I really believe it's important for us because when we take these moments of our lives and turn them into art, they become so much more manageable to be with. They're just not as intense anymore. And every time you practice that song, every time you play that song, every time you sit down to write these lyrics, that stuff just transforms a little bit less painful every time. Okay, so I'm gonna just read through mine really quick, and then I'm gonna pick one, and I'll show you how you can take this exercise into the next step. So time, 1990, basement summer. 2011, March 30th, Los Angeles rooftop library. In the other room before the airport. I don't even know what that one means. This is what's fun about the 10-minute exercise. I was going fast 2 years ago in my apartment. Lie, you were a Band-Aid. I don't think you're here. Don't know what that means either. I wish we never met. That one's fun. That's a good one. I'd be fine without my family. I'll see you soon. Oh, that one's owie. Truth. I know you know my secret. Ooh, doggy, that one is juicy. I wanted to destroy something. That one's fun too. I was trying to save you. I was lying all along. Ooh. You're watching me? That's creepy. I don't know. I can hardly read my handwriting. So sometimes when you get into these super fast, don't think about it, just write stuff down, first thing that comes to mind kind of exercises, I find that my handwriting gets pretty sloppy. And I kind of do that on purpose. It's twofold. I think one, it's just to keep me moving and not be perfectionistic, because perfectionism kills this work. And then secondly, there is that idea that like maybe somebody might read this someday, And while I try to really encourage people when they're doing these kind of creative exercises to not think about it from that perspective, don't consider the eyes that may end up on it. This is just for you. I think part of my self-preservation comes in, I write really sloppily when I do this. I don't think many people could read this, which is good because I wouldn't want some people to read all of this, right? And of course, I'm going to share it with you right here on the freaking internet, but it's not stuff that makes sense to you, so that's okay. Okay, light. I took this one kind of literally, light through a linen curtain. I have a memory of light kind of diffusing through this linen. Slotted blinds and shadows. So again, I'm kind of seeing patches of light in my memory bank. Laying by the sliding door when I was a kid. I used to like to lay in the sunshine. I'm letting go. Now that's lightness, like lightness of heart, lightness of spirit. I'm letting go. And you were a gift. That's a very lighthearted thought that is lovely that occurred to me. And that one, I was referring to my fiance. He's so sweet, little Josh. I consider him such a gift. Darkness. Oh, this one's got a lot of good songs in it. I'm broken. I'm broken is a great thought. This is going to end badly. Catastrophe. Everyone dies. That's my personal story of catastrophe that I get really hung up on, is like everybody's just going to drop dead in some horrible way around me, which is obviously not true, but it is very dark. And this one's got more of like a light, dark, physical, actual darkness, which is, I said, hiding in the corners of my mind. So like these little things that haven't come to light, they're in the dark, they're in the shadows. And this one is really, this is hard for me to share with you, but I'm going to, because I think the ones that are really hard to talk about make some of the best songs. And this one is, if you really knew me, you wouldn't love me. So that is dark as hell. But also, it also falls in other categories on there, right? That's also a lie. I don't think that's really, really true, but also it's a truth because there's part of me that believes it's really true, right? So when we start to get into these kind of beliefs that we carry around that shape us, they can be true on the cellular level. We believe them. So I'm gonna take I'll see you soon. I think that's under my lie category. And that one, it kind of doesn't have a specific story attached to me. That was kind of a random thought for me. But that one, I think we could create a really neat piece of art around. So the lie that tells the truth, I'll see you soon, is that like you ghosting somebody? Like, I'll see you soon, and then never again? Is it the last time you see someone before they die, or the last time before you die? Maybe in this song, it's your death you experience, and you say, I'll see you soon, but then that sight of them, you get to explore the idea of maybe seeing them from a post-mortem state, right? So you see how that 1, 2, 3, 4 words can open up this whole new world of imagination. In time, Los Angeles Rooftop Library, we could really put our listener into that time with us. You can sit down and give the details of the surroundings. I remember there were these like topiary trees that they were kind of a swirly pine tree, and they had a very pointy top, and they had little lights running through them. There were lots of loungy type benches and big cushions and fire pits, and it was a very whimsical space, this rooftop space. So I could go into describing that in my song and put my listener right into that moment. And these are the kinds of things in songwriting that relate to people when they can feel this. You want to engage the 5 senses. So Maybe you hear the seagulls passing over this rooftop. Maybe you smell the food from the kitchen because it was a restaurant, or maybe you smell the sea breeze if you're near the ocean. Maybe you smell the city of Los Angeles doesn't have a particularly pleasant smell depending on where you are. Maybe what you see. I just kind of described what I saw. And what do you feel? Maybe I feel the breeze over my face. Maybe I feel um, chilly because it was nighttime and I don't think I had the proper sweater. So these kinds of details, when you pull them into a song, make it really concrete for a listener. Because when we start to write songs that have this really broad meaning, we tend to get into some very cliche and trite writing, right? Because there's an art form here of not laying your whole personal life out on the table. We don't necessarily need to spell out the details of these circumstances because they're not for everyone all the time. Sometimes they are, and sometimes a good song will hit you right in the face with a fact, with a memory, with a very pungent detail that is like, boom, like, oh, God, ow, right? But other times it's just lovable because you understand it. And we're going back into resonance, right? And connecting with other people through our music, using our voice, using our words to connect with others. We want to make it something that other people universally understand. So using those five senses to pull in the description of your surroundings, of how you're feeling, using lots of metaphor. Like I could feel as tangled up as these octopus legs and this hair, this Medusa of a woman, right? Like you can pull imagery from around you and feel like you can describe something that people might relate to without really spilling your guts. You can spill your guts without spilling your guts. You don't need to clarify everything you write, and that's why it's an art form. But it means something to you, and it helps you process some things. Now, songwriting is not just about when you're sad or mad or did something bad. I'm approaching it with that light because of the chakra lesson, and I want us to kind of consider the times when we have given our spirit away, given our soul away, kind of woven it into decisions that didn't serve our best interest. Because painful moments are much easier to find something to write about because we have some stuff to process there. So happy stuff is a lot harder to write about for me, but that's not everyone. And it's actually a goal of mine in this year to write some really uplifting, inspirational music, because there's part of me that believes that inspirational music is really corny and it's terrible. But I just listened to my favorite playlist that I listen to when I need a boost in energy and confidence. It's called Love Your Launch. I made it for Lauren Vanessa Zink, but it's actually for me, it turns out. Oh, funny how these things work. I'll link to it in the show notes if you want to listen to my Get Pumped Up, Dance Around the House and Feel Like $1 Million playlist. It's called Love Your Launch, or Launch for Lunch is what it's called. Launch for Lunch. And it's just like really uplifting, positive, like you kick ass kind of songs, and like don't quit, don't stop. So there are a lot of songs that are positive that, aren't necessarily these deep, dark, awful secrets that we carry. But I think people like to start there. It's a natural place to start. Heartbreak. There's so many love songs. It's Valentine's Day coming up. Let's not eat our emotions in chocolate. Let's write them into songs. So great. You filled this out, I think, I hope, maybe, perhaps. And if you haven't, hopefully you downloaded it so you can do it at a later time. And your next step with that is going to be to pick maybe one from each category, or maybe just one, maybe three. Pick a handful that kind of stand out to you on the page. And they might stand out because like the way you wrote it sounds lyrical. Laying by the sliding door. That could mean a million things. It doesn't necessarily have to be a song about that literal moment of when I was a kid, just basking in the sunshine, laying on the carpet, daydreaming in the sunshine. But like, it could be a description of anything, anyone laying by the sliding door. Maybe it's an object that's laying by the sliding door. Maybe it's a cat. There's a million ways to approach it, but maybe you find something that the way you actually phrase it on the page seems like a lyric, and then you can kind of work with that. Maybe it's the moment itself that's coming to you and saying, like, this is really tugging at my heartstrings right now. I need to look at this a little bit more. But pick 1 to 5, somewhere in there. Pick a few, and then start with one. And what you're going to do is set that timer again, 10 minutes. And I want you to just write that thought at the top of the page and then elaborate. Same process. Try not to pick up your pen very much, or if you're typing, don't stop to like fix spelling or delete or fix your punctuation. Just let it all out. And the least you can censor yourself, the better, because we want to kind of uncover what's underneath the surface layer of your thinking process about that, because you probably are very aware of your surface thoughts on this topic, but maybe you're not aware of some of the other stuff. So you're going to pick your little seedling. You're going to set another 10-minute timer, and you're just going to flow right. And then you're going to continue that process until you feel like you've got the beginning of a song. Now that might feel like a big leap for a couple people. So I'm going to give you a couple of resources here, especially if you're a newer songwriter or you're strictly a singer and you don't play the instruments, which I don't say that in a way that is demeaning. Singing, the voice is an instrument, and it's a very complicated instrument, and it's also invisible and susceptible to your emotions and all that jazz. So I by no means am like, oh, I'm just a singer. It's like, no, I'm a singer. That's actually a huge ball of wax. So if you're a singer and not another form of instrumentalist, a physical instrument, then I have a resource for you, which is called Audio Jungle. So Audio Jungle is for like, it's like if I wanted to put background music in this video that I didn't have to like get copyright approval for, and honestly, I should look into it a little bit more. And I will give you a little disclaimer when I tell you more about Audio Jungle that I don't understand the laws about this entirely. But you buy the song and then you can record it. So for example, I have a meditation on this channel that I bought the background music for and I recorded over. And it's from a catalog that's meant to be used in that way. So I don't have to, I just pay for it once. So as far as taking that music into a songwriting situation and then publishing it again and like you making money off of that song, I don't think that's legal. You can't like, I don't think you could write a song and then call it your own and then publish it. But for the exercise of getting the wheels turning on songwriting, Audio Jungle is an amazing tool. They have songs as low as like $3 and $5, and some are much more expensive. And they're also organized by genre, by length, there's a million ways you can filter the song. So for example, I went in the other day and like found Americana, and I listened and I was like, oh, I could give this to a student to play with who kind of has this Americana vibe. And it's not to say that you're going to write these songs and that's going to be your album. That's not at all what I'm saying, like far the opposite way. This is just strictly an exercise, because cultivating creativity is an art form in itself, right? Like, because it's easy to write a song when you're in the middle of this, like when you're in the middle of grieving, or you're in the middle of a breakup, or you're in the middle of a fight with your sister. It doesn't really matter. When you have those peak high emotions, it's easy to kind of barf out a song because you have to purge all of that energetic, emotional stuff. But when you're calm and you're just like, hey, it's Tuesday, should I write a song today? Nothing's coming to me. I'm not feeling very inspired. We often wait for high emotions to strike before we get creative. And in my opinion, that's kind of a failure on the creative part. And I don't mean failure like bad you, but like that we're failing to recognize that the creative body is available to us at all times. We just have to learn to access it. And so these exercises I'm giving you are a way to kind of create a practice out of your creativity instead of just a happenstance creative moment. Okay. So yeah, you're going to keep boiling down that process. You're going to find your seed. You're going to set another timer for 10 minutes, write it at the top of the page, write. When that timer goes off, I want you to go back and read it and read and read and read. And sometimes these little nuggets just pop off the page at you. And it's either, oh, like I didn't even know I was feeling that. Or sometimes it's, wow, that's really poetic how I wrote that. Sometimes my journal practice turns into like I pull an actual line out of it for a lyric in a song because it just is worded nicely, and or the rhythm, the cadence is nice of what I said there. And that stuff will start to happen to you as well. So don't doubt it too much. Try not to censor too much. Try not to doubt too much. Just do and be. Be creative by doing, okay? So if you find something in that first round, you're going to kind of keep extrapolating the good stuff, keep journaling until you feel like you've got something. And then you can take Audio Jungle, or you can pick up your instrument, start to kind of noodle around, see if anything's sounding like the mood. I tend to think of this in terms of mood. If this song is, ragey, pick something ragey. If it's something, sweet, pick something sweet. And then there's also the exception to the rule, which is putting like ragey lyrics over a very sweet sound, which is a cool juxtaposition. So you could actually try something a little bit opposite there and see if you could make that work, because sometimes like country music does that a lot, right? It's kind of a bright, twangy, happy sound with some very sad lyrics on top sometimes. It's part of why I love country music so very much. So, do I need to tell you anything else? I think that's about it. So once you've done this, you're gonna journal again for 10 minutes, see what pops out. If you need to take that line and do some more, do it again. Do it until you've boiled it down to something that feels great, and or maybe feels like a good jumping off point. Great might be a stretch, especially if you're new at this. And then just see what you can do. A rhyme scheme helps. You don't have to rhyme your songs, but if you're new and you're just kind of like, I don't know what to do, go find your music, start singing some melodies that sound like they fit. Try not to worry about being right, just create. It's not, especially because this song, especially if you use Audio Jungle, you're not like gonna release this song. This is an exercise. So you have to kind of detach from the idea of it like being, this is my next hit single. If you're looking for your next hit single and you don't play an instrument, then you can collaborate. And I bet there's a lot of people in this group who would be willing to do that with you. So that's when you reach out to fellow musicians and say, hey, I've kind of got this idea I'm working on. Do you maybe want to help me with it? And do you want to collaborate? And collaboration has been such a huge part of my own writing career, because I didn't really pick up an instrument until much later in my singing life. But I always wanted to sing and share. So I was always working with other people. And in fact, I am marrying my songwriting partner, which is super fun. So that worked out really well. It's basically not how it usually works out, but this time it did. And then since then, I've started writing on piano by myself. And here's the thing, I don't play piano that well. I even took some lessons for a while and I'll probably go back to lessons at some point, but I was like, it's actually making it too complicated for me, because I'm starting to think about all this technique, and really I just need a couple of chords and something that sounds nice to my ears and something I can sing over. So avoid over complicating things. Just get something down. And the more often you do this, the better and better your writing is going to get, and the more and more body of work you're going to have. So start with Audio Jungle if you don't feel comfortable working with another person and you don't play an instrument. Collaborate with others if you are at that level of experience and comfort. And if you are an instrumentalist, pick up your damn guitar or your piano and go to town, or whatever you play, your ukulele, your kazoo, don't matter, write a song. GarageBand is an awesome resource if you want to start recording. It's pretty simple. YouTube has a huge amount of information on it. So you could even start to record these ideas and have a body of work start to build. And again, your first stuff isn't going to be great, guys. You have to get through the okay stuff to get to the good stuff. So don't spend your mental or spiritual energy on, oh, I just don't like this. It's not good. Now, I don't care for this. Let me work on it. Let me adjust it. That's okay. Like, yeah, this feels bumpy. This word doesn't work. I don't love this rhyme. This feels like it's been said this way. Can we say this in a new way? That's okay. But like, oh, I'm so bad at this. Don't spend your time that way. You guys are amazing, and we are made to be creative. In fact, we are thriving when we're creative. So I'd love to hear how this practice opens up anything for you. If you feel like it moves anything around for you spiritually, or in your belief in yourself, your confidence, or just your creativity in general, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up this spiel on the 25 songs in 10 minutes. This will be the last day I talk about this. I'm going to move into telling you a little bit about the Bold Vocal Academy. I think it's the first time I've said it out loud. So if you're interested in hearing about it and all of that, please stay with me. And if not, I'm so happy you stopped by. Thank you very much for watching. Okay, so group coaching, the Bold Vocal Academy, it's where science meets spirit. This is what I've been teaching all week, a little bit of science, a little bit of spirit, and kind of everything in between. So it's a group program. There's going to be a private Facebook group that we will be a part of, and then I will teach on Zoom, which is how I've been recording all these videos. So in your email, you'll have a specially segmented list that'll only go to you and not my whole list. You will get a meeting link for how we meet up on Zoom. Those meetings are going to take place on Tuesdays from 11:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. So they're pretty much lunch hour, but a little bit earlier because I teach a lot of clients on Tuesday afternoon and evening. So it's important to me that I don't sacrifice, my one-to-one people in order to make this work. So that's what we're going to start with. If I find over time that the time slot is not getting enough engagement and people just really can't make that work, then I'm open to changing it. But my schedule is pretty set and I've got to be there. So 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Tuesdays. And it'll be a 4 time per month meeting. So we actually won't meet one of the weeks. And I'm thinking the order, and again, we're learning as we go here. This is a new thing. So it may adjust and change over time, but the first week of the month, I'm going to teach a lesson just like I've been doing here. So we'll have some sort of a project, some sort of a prompt, some sort of teaching about the voice, maybe about songwriting, maybe about certain techniques. And I have a lot of those planned out, but I also want to leave some room for teaching what feels relevant to the group once it's established. So I do have an outline for all of that, but I also am going to let who ends up being in the group kind of determine what we're working on, because that's more important, right? So the first meeting of the month will be that. And then the second week of the month will be an implementation week. So I gave you a couple of days in this series to do that, and this will be the same. So you'll get a day where I won't be live on the call or coaching, but I will hold that hour for office hours. So if you're working on something and you're feeling stuck, I will be there to assist you and be available for emails, calls, however you like to communicate, DMs, whatever. So I will be there for supporting you. So if you're stuck on something or you're just have a question, it doesn't really matter. I will be open to this group and to this group only. That time is held for me for office hours. And then weeks 3 and 4 will be hot seat coaching. So hot seat coaching makes it sound a little scarier than it really is. This is going to be a very private group. So there will be some boundaries and some guidelines that I will really establish with you when we get in there about privacy and about compassion and support for one another. I don't tend to attract people who are bullies because I don't, I won't stand for it. So the people in this group are going to be, uh-oh, dogs fetching. Okay. The people are going to be the right group. And I've spent some time really trying to call in the right people for this. So if it's sounding like it's you, it probably is. And we're going to have to be a little bit vulnerable with one another, which is another reason in this series I've been trying to share a bit about myself that makes me uncomfortable, because I'm going to ask the same of you, but I don't want you to shy away from that, because there's so much transformation available to you in this space. Okay. So we'll do hot seat coaching on that topic. Sometimes it'll be a song, like I'm working on this song and this note is difficult, like standard voice coaching. If you go to a vocal coach, you're gonna be like, I'm running out of breath in this phrase, or this high note is just impossible. And then I'm gonna be like, okay, great, let's work on your breath, or let's work on your vowel sound, or maybe we should drop your jaw. Let's try a few things and see what's happening. However, sometimes it's going to be working through a limiting belief. Sometimes people are going to call and just be like, I'm like, I've hit a wall, and then we're going to say, okay, let's spend a few minutes and break this down and let's look at it together. And the thing that's really nice about this, I know it sounds a bit scary, but I'm in a few coaching programs that are structured this way. And I've learned so much from other people. So watching other people get coached on something that they're stuck on has opened so many doors in my mind. It's given me new ideas. It's actually worked out a problem that I've been on because I'm having the same problem, or maybe not in so many words, but all of a sudden I can see something with a different lens because it's not me. So when we are in it, we're too close to see it, which is why we get coaching, right? And sometimes hearing other people get coached is enough to really shake something loose for you. And I'm really a big fan of it. If there are 5 weeks in the month, it will kind of depend on where everybody's at, but we'll probably add an extra group coaching call. So if more coaching needs to be done, if more people want time with me one-on-one in front of the group, then we'll do that. And if not, it would be another implementation day. So I know as adults, we have a lot of responsibilities and it's really hard to get all this done. So by the way, I got a few comments and emails that people were kind of mad at themselves for falling behind in this, and it's okay. This was a lot on purpose because I really want you to join me in a longer term relationship. Okay. Now that relationship is not free like this. That's just the nature. I am a business and I am a very heartfelt forward business. I want so badly to make your singing life sing. Oh. So we have vocal dogs here. So that's fun. I usually have them in the other room when I record. So I want your singing life to enhance your life, right? So this program at friends and family rate, it's an auto pay and it will be $37. It's basically a beta test, which means I'm needing you guys to help me shape this and make it the best that it can be because I've never done it before. So I'm offering it at a very low rate, $37 a month, just to you guys who have been on this series with me. Well, not actually just to you. I'm going to open the card at that for the first 2 weeks. So until the end of February, it will be $37 a month, and that will be your rate for life if you join me. So as long as you're in the program, that will be your rate. And then I'm going to continue to raise it. I think it will end up at $97. That's what feels pretty aligned for me. One of my solo lessons, which you can't buy a la carte lessons, I don't like to teach people one time. It doesn't feel in alignment for me. I really want to help people break through barriers and transform. I want a transformation. So I'm not interested in working with people who need a touch up or they're just curious. I want people who know they're ready for this kind of work. And this is an option to do that at a much lower price point with huge amount of value, like maybe more value because you get the group and the community. But yeah, so if you have a package with me that's one-to-one and longer term, it's $75 an hour basically. So for half the price of one lesson, you're getting basically 4 hours of my time per month, and a community of like-minded people who can help you. So the Facebook group is also a huge asset here, because if I'm not available outside of that, the hot seat coaching or the office hours, there's a group there that everybody has a lot of experience and a lot of insight to give. So you could post your questions, you could post your videos, you could post anything you've got there. And of course, I will comment on them as often as possible, but I think a lot of you might find that the community of each other will have your back and have a lot of really valuable things to offer you. And that's going to be in a safe and private space with very clear guidelines as well. I'm also offering in this for $37 a month. You get all of that. I'm giving access to all of these videos. So if you've missed anything, they're all going to be in the private Facebook group. And I will also put my Diva Bundle videos in there as well, which are 5 other trainings with 5 warm-ups that correspond to, range and articulation and all kinds of technical skills of singing that are very important to know. So basically my whole library of online products will be available to you. And also you will have opportunities to work one-to-one with me at a much lower rate. So if I have an opening in my schedule, in the week, if nobody has booked it on my retainer clients, I will post it in the group, and you guys will have access to that at a highly discounted rate. And I don't, like I said, I don't offer one-offs to just anybody. So this group, because I'm working with you in this long-term way, I feel perfectly okay allowing you guys to just buy a session when you feel like you need it. And that will be available. It's kind of like last-minute flights. If we haven't filled all the seats on the plane, you get a really good deal on that seat for filling it. So that's going to be exclusive to this group as well. I have not released this yet into a place where you can physically click on it. I'm going to do that in the next couple of days. And I'm going to teach my next few lessons live on Facebook. So they will end up on the YouTube channel and in the email. But I'm going to open this up these next couple of days of discussion to anybody who is not on the email list as well, because Facebook and Instagram, sometimes you miss people and the algorithms and whatnot. So I'm going to put this out in the public and see if anybody else is kind of interested in this sort of teaching. And then on Friday, Valentine's Day, I'm going to open the cart. So you will be able to enroll in this program for $37 a month. That's your lifetime rate, no matter how the price climbs or when, as long as you're in the group. And then you will also get access to my whole online catalog of teaching, and you will get to book one-on-one time with me at a discounted rate. Does that sound amazing? That's half the price of one vocal lesson. So it's a really great value. If you're not interested, that's okay. I really only want the people who that sounds like it's calling out to you. If it is, I want you. You are my people, you are my tribe, and I love you. I'm going to let you go because this is very long, but please stay up to date in your emails. I'm going to send more and more information over the next couple days about how you can enroll in the Bold Vocal Academy, where science meets spirit. It's going to be awesome. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.